Hey Dan, this is video from our visit to the second half and the larger half of the Maritime Museum, which is actually right on the Baltic as opposed to in one of the old artillery towers of Vonelin. Like many things in Estonia, this they've done an amazing job. It sort of follows the arc of Tallinn after the withdrawal of the Soviets. Mainly, they've taken old, completely worn-out buildings and they've refurbished them. So this particular building was a seaplane hangar, and I mean there was concrete falling off the ceiling. The floors were crappy. I mean there was one whole end that was completely open to the Baltic, and in a 2-year time period, they completely redid it and made it into really a beautiful maritime museum. Inside the main hangar, inside this facility, they had this huge, I guess all submarines are huge, but this particular submarine, which was commandeered by the Soviets back in the 40s and used very actively until finally Estonia declared independence again in 91, and then Estonia got the submarine and were able to decommission and put it on display. Also inside there was a secondary exhibit, which is a rotating exhibit called Sex and the Sea, and it's all about, really, I think it was about sailors traveling around the world having sex with natives. That's pretty much what I got from it. And it was all of the sexual aspects of being a sailor, which, as you can imagine, there was some explicit, especially being not in the U.S., rather explicit parts of the exhibit. But because of your delicate nature, I decided to omit those particular pieces of video. But this whole museum was very interactive. This particular part right here, you could make a paper airplane. I'm not sure how that relates to a maritime museum, but nonetheless. You could make a paper airplane and then try to launch it through these holes. It was harder than it looked. Making the plane was easy enough. Getting the plane to fly through the holes, not so easy. So this is where the Sex and the Sea part started. So they had one particular section that I'm not showing in here, which was interviews with various sailors and various girls in typical naval ports who entertained the sailors, and they talked about just their experiences in a very matter-of-fact way. I couldn't quite decide whether they were condoning it or just simply talking about it and covering what was in fact a reality. This particular thing, this creature here, I don't know if you actually had a chance to read that placard that I had, but go back and look at it. It talks about how this was actually the cause of syphilis, because they obviously didn't want to blame it on sexual transmission, so it was easier to blame on this sea creature. And I don't remember that creature being how they describe basilisks in Harry Potter, but maybe that's what J.K. Rowling was getting at. I don't know. Anyway, the whole museum, as I said, was very hands-on. Lots of kid-friendly stuff. This is the inside of the submarine. You could walk through, and again, just lots of it was made it so that the whole family could come through. So that, I guess, is my story, and I'm sticking to it.